Ronan Keating, Life is a Roller Coaster, a man who's played an integral part of the city's heritage and conservation. Vikas Dilawari is here, last leg of conversation.
This is Goodbye with Hrishi K.
What are the chances? But, a criminal lack of foresight on my part. I misspelt conservation, and Walter George has pointed that out. And he says something, but before that, I want you to narrate this particular case that, this misspelling is not something that only I am guilty of. It started very early in your career.
Yeah, I distinctly remember the first time I went to meet a bureaucrat and I sent a card, and this is just passing out after in 1990, and he session architect ko bula lo. And it's been 30 years from conversation architect, where we were only talking, to actually now executing work, and it's come a full circle of being called a conservation architect now.
Though you are very good at conversations too. Because that's what Walt
for the need of the hour to restoration. Now, unfortunately, we don't get that opportunity, and if there are incentives given to the owners, to the tenants take part, and if the government also gives incentives for repairs, then we can see a change. All I'm saying is that if you repair a building and you prolong its life, you're not loading onto the fragile infrastructure. You're retaining the social, cultural, the bonding which was there, which is very integral with the city. These public spaces where Ganpatis and so many other places, functions which happens. And lastly, it's very economical. And of course, if you talk of climate change and other things, this will all help in whatever part of it. If you retain and restore the buildings, give that a first chance, and if that doesn't work, then go for redevelopment.
And we've seen the advantages of having heritage precincts like the Kalagoda area. You worked on a fair share of buildings there. Also, where the Victoria Terminus station is, and that particular area. You were just mentioning a wonderful lane. Is this the Homi Baba lane? Is that it?
No, it's the Old Meadow Street.
Old Meadow Street, yeah.
So there are many buildings which are very run down. The balconies are broken. People have repaired it. People have added box grills and things like that. I was fortunate to get an opportunity to work on More Building 2, where you were just involved to do the roof and to do the facade. And once these two things were done, I think it's transformed the building itself, which was a rundown building. And if you visit now, you can certainly see it. It's very dignified. And the best thing that this build does, it promotes or encourages the surrounding buildings to go a transformation, and thereby a gentrification of that area happens. And all this is without demolishing it. Otherwise, you'll have 4 to 5 story stilt car parks, but the lanes are still 20 feet wide. So I think there's an option, and there's desirable to go for repairs first, or sensitive repairs, and see how it works.
And for all architecture students out there who have chosen conservation and heritage conservation architecture as their area of specialization, it's not a quick fix procedure, is there?
No.
I mean, it's almost as though lots of bureaucrats would like to take pride of place and responsibility for having a building accomplished during their tenure, and often it doesn't happen during their tenure, and you have questions to answer.
Yes, it's like planting a tree. It's not that you might just eat the fruits of it, but the next generation certainly will. And it's a slow process, but very essential. It's like a car where you also have to have some brakes. So I'm just saying that, if you have sensitive development, it goes hand in hand with conservation. It's not one over-imposing on the other, or the other over-imposing on the...
You can reach you. I know you're not very active on social media, but if there's an email ID where they can just write to you, what would it be?
It's vikasdilawari@gmail.com, vikasdilawari@gmail.com.
Remember that Dilawari is with a W. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Up ahead, the best sporting action from around the country. A contest where you can win yourself some Paytm voucher codes. You don't want to go anywhere. I'm Hrishi K. Messages and back.